So we move in, and I swear to God, the second we move in, the first thing my mom notices is how dirty the microwave is.
Mm-hmm.
When she looks, cause when you walk in, that's one of the first things you see, and you just see dry ramen noodles. You see dried up liquids that I don't know what they're from. You see, it's just a mess. And then once she opened it, she was appalled. She saw the counter, they were dirty. There was dust on top of the fridge, behind the fridge, around the fridge, dust everywhere. There was dirt on the floor. It was a mess. It was a literal mess. We got to my room. We find little hairs in the little drawer. And, you know, I find toenail clippings on the floor, chips on the floor. There's like a brown dried up substance on the door that I till this day don't know what it was. But you know, it was incredible how dirty the place was. And, you know, it's very depressing knowing that we paid so much, and we come the first day of moving, we come to this building and the place is a literal mess. Like, it is, you cannot live in this type of place. It's not safe for you to breathe in all the dust and all the dirt and be, you know, be vulnerable to all the germs going around, you know? And
I get into the room. I walked in. I checked out like the kitchen and the bathroom. And in the bathroom, in the shower, I saw these bugs. I was like, what the fuck?
What kind of bugs?
Like they were just bugs. And then like when I asked about it, like with the resident director, he was like, oh, they're water bugs. I don't know what those are called. Like, I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
So I was just like, okay, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, yeah, we should get an exterminator up here. And he was like, yeah, sure. Nothing ever happened.
No exterminator ever came.
No exterminator, no nothing. I had to spend at least two to 3 hours just wiping down the whole place, like with like Clorox and like Pledge. Like, it was just so dusty.
And
then,
how's your first night?
oh my god, my first night. So like I was out all day actually. So like I moved in, and my parents left, and then, you know, I went out with pals. I was like, okay, you know, whatever. We all moved in. It's all cool. And I come back, and like I lift my blanket over, and there's a bug just sitting in there. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? I was like, no fucking way this happened. I never had a bed bug in my life. And that was the first little thing that pops up there. Like, my first night, I was like, this is gonna be the worst semester. Well, year, because like,
You're locked in for the year, yeah.
So,
all in all, like, the bathroom was dirty. There was mildew everywhere. It was dusty.
Mold in the vents.
Mold. It was disgusting. You know, even though I was wearing flip-flops in the shower, I still didn't feel like I was really protected from all the germs in that bathroom. And it's kind of sad to know, because I had to deal with a personal dilemma where it's kind of like, yeah, this is already very expensive, and I'm living here. But then again, like, I already felt bad about that. But then on top of that, it's not a very well organized, kept place. The staff is incoherent. The dorms that we came into were already dirty and filthy. I had to clean everything in my room. Me and Chris and his mom and his sister and his girlfriend spent almost an entire day just cleaning the whole suite. So, you know,
it could be livable. It wasn't even like certain things couldn't even be cleaned.
Yeah, certain things couldn't even be cleaned after that. It couldn't even. So it's kind of like, on top of already feeling bad and already on top of the pressure that I felt that, yeah, I'm dorming, so I have to do good in school. On top of all that pressure and that just worry, I had to deal with the fact that the place where I was living in was not clean, was not well kept, and it wasn't my fault.
Just all over cleanliness, like, what's go with that? Like,
sanitary definitely was a big issue, and I'm like, I wouldn't even say I'm a germaphobe, but like, I cared. Like, I was like, no fucking way. Like, am I really living in this shithole? Like, I didn't know. Honestly, like, Yeah, like I'm not a germaphobe, but like it was a shithole by my standards, and like,
Right.
like I'm pretty open to anything. Like I'll sleep on the floor half the time, but
Mhm.
like this place was just terrible. Like I asked them for a vacuum to like vacuum up the carpet like
Mhm.
in the dorm, cause like it was dirty. It was like covered in hair. I was like, okay, you know, someone needs to clean this shit up. I asked them if they had a vacuum, so I got the vacuum.
So there's hair from before you even moved in.
Yeah, there was a lot of hair. I guess like 2 girls lived there because like there was a lot of blonde long hair like just on the chair, on the floor,
Mm-hmm.
on top of like the mattress that they give you. Yeah, you know, I took the vacuum that they had that they gave me when I asked for it, and like it didn't even help like anything. I was just so upset. I was like,
Clean just for when you get in the room and just take a glimpse, it looks clean. But we moved some stuff around the room and under the wardrobe and under the beds. It was not clean at all.
Mm-hmm.
There was like some trash like under,
Yeah.
like if they were trying to push all the trash underneath, and that's disgusting actually.
You know, living in the suite with Chris and, you know, our former roommate, we realized that, you know, every time we checked the fridge, certain foods and certain liquids weren't as cold as it should have been. You know, they were kind of like a little bit over. It felt like a little bit over room temperature. It didn't really feel like cold, like, you know. So we ended up buying a thermometer for the fridge because we felt like that it wasn't reaching its full temperature, and we had it on its coldest maximum. You know, we had it on the setting, the coldest, whatever.
As instructed by the office.
Yeah, like they came in, they changed it. They came into our room, they changed it to the maximum setting,
Told us to wait 2 days.
and we did. We probably waited more than that, and you know, it still didn't feel cold enough for us. Like the waters I put in there were not cold enough. The foods I put in there weren't cold enough. The butter, the cream cheese weren't really up to the temperature where it stays more of a solid. It was more kind of like mushy, you know. So we ended up buying a little fridge thermometer thing, and we put it in the fridge
And the freezer.
and the freezer, and the freezer didn't reach the temperature, although it was close, but the fridge was off by 10, 20
It was
degrees.
32 degrees in the freezer, which is
Yeah.
supposed to be the temperature of the
Yeah,
fridge.
the fridge.
And the fridge was 56 degrees.
Yeah. So it was off by a lot, you know. And that's what I don't understand. How can they tell us that it's working? You know, and it not work. We're not gullible people. We're not gonna. One day I actually brought a couple of my friends over to come see the place, to come chill with me, cuz I haven't seen them in a while. And 20 minutes as they come in, the bookkeeper barges in through the door. The front door doesn't knock, just uses her key card and barges in with one of the maintenance people. And she checks the fridge, and I have my door closed, but I can hear her cursing and yelling like, "Oh, this fridge is working, blah blah blah. I don't know what this kid is talking about, whatever." And I'm there with my friends, and and they have no idea what's going on. So I open the door, and she kind of puts me on blast. She kind of like puts me on the spot and is like, "The fridge is working, right? Look, it's working." Opens the fridge, shows me the water. And I'm there with my friends, and I'm just thinking, how unprofessional is this bookkeeper that, you know, I have to, it's just very unprofessional, and till this day, I don't understand why the bookkeeper couldn't just knock on my door or come another time when my friends weren't there. It was very unprofessional. Yeah, what else?
And this was like after a phone call with my mom. I'm assuming I wasn't there. I think it was during the weekend or something.
Yeah,
but
it was.
Was that right after a phone call?
It
with
was
my mom,
after.
right?
I don't know.
I think it was the day I went home with food poisoning.
Okay, but probably, you know, I think it was because, or maybe it was the day before, literally the day before you left, and then she came in the next day, and that's when she checked everything. You know,
My first room, that room that I thought had bed bugs, when I first moved in, the outlets didn't work. We didn't have a hot plate. My AC didn't work, and it was like 100 degrees. Like,
Yeah, August.
it was so hot, yeah. And what else didn't work? Oh, our fridge didn't work. All our food went bad.
The things that didn't work well are like the Wi-Fi, for example. The first 3 weeks or 4 weeks, it was awful. Awful. You were using the Wi-Fi really slowly, like Instagram, Snapchat, everything. Nothing worked. And you went downstairs. You go downstairs to complain, and they are like, it's not my problem. They're just trying to sneak. And that's not how it should work, because you're paying you're paying a lot of money, and at least you expect that everything that is here, even though it's not the better you expected, it's working at least well. Like the Wi-Fi, the hot plate, the hot plate, it wasn't brand new. It was really like kind of dirty, and we had to ask for a new one, and at least we got the new one. But after like 1 month of struggling, like first they tried to clean it, then finally we were like, this is not working, and we got the new one. But it was not like the first day asking for a new one and they really kind. No,
Right.
it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that.
Okay, so I think it was like maybe 2 weeks after I moved in, I started getting bites, and I sent them to my dad. He didn't know if it was like bed bugs or not because he's never like seen them. But then I was telling my one friend from school about it, and he was like, I've had bed bugs before, and he was looking at it, and he was like, that looked exactly like the bites. Like, you should do something about it. But I found out on like a Friday, and they're closed on the weekend, so I couldn't do anything. So like that whole weekend, I just slept at my friend's house because I didn't want to stay here. But I like couldn't tell anyone. Like I tried talking to the guy at the desk, and he wouldn't do anything about it. He was like, go get some spray. Like he was so rude to me.
Security guard?
Yeah, the one at the desk. It was, I don't know which one it was, but
Yeah, okay.
but so on Monday I told them, and they were like acting like they were like freaked out about it, but I could tell like they didn't really care, and they're like, oh, we gotta do something about this right away. Go put all your clothes in like these black bags, and we're gonna put it on the roof so like the sun kills all the bugs and stuff. And I was like, I don't know how legit that sounds, but okay. So literally I put every piece of like fabric like in my room. It was so much. It was like 3 bags of stuff, and it was like so heavy, and they're like, just leave it here. And I was like, okay, well, I'm leaving for the day because I'm not gonna go chill in my room, I guess. And I was like, so when I get back, like my clothes are gonna be done. They're like, yeah, we'll go to your room, get the bags, put on the roof, and by the time you're back tonight, the sun will be down, and you can get your clothes, and then we'll exterminate it tomorrow morning. So I came back, and my bags were still there, and I was so pissed. And I was talking to my roommate about it, and the office was closed because I was gonna go down there and be like, what the fuck? And they moved me into my new room, and they were like, okay, well, like this room, the first room that had bed bugs, it was like a different room type than the one that I like wanted. I had like the studio one, but they gave me just like the 1-person one. And so they were, that whole time, like I was supposed to switch my room still, and I was waiting for that. So then when they switched me out of that room, they were like, you'll stay in a twin bedroom because the studio room isn't ready. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I stayed in the twin room for like a couple nights, and they're like, okay, yeah, your room will be ready and stuff. There's just like a couple things wrong with it and stuff. And then I was talking to my roommate, and she's like, no, like the door doesn't even open, the bathroom, like the sink doesn't work, like everything in that room doesn't work. That's what they told me. But then when I went down there and talked to them about it, like they just completely like lied and was like, oh, it'll take like a couple days and stuff. And then like at the same time, I didn't unpack any of my things because I didn't want to like take everything out and then move again in like 2 days. So I kept everything in there, and it was like a week passed by, and I went down there, and they're like, no, like just give us like a couple more days or something like that, like don't unpack or anything. So I waited, and it was probably like 3 weeks, and they didn't do anything, and then I just decided to stay in that room.
From the very beginning, like really related to everyone and really involved to campus. So I was thinking about that could be a good option, being at the residence hall. The first thing I didn't know from home was that they are not actually connected with Brooklyn College, so they are private owned, and that's, I mean, I think that's the first reason it's really bad, because they don't really care about students. And I knew they had some trouble with Brooklyn College staff. They used to have some people working for them in here, and they fired them all. So they lost connection with Brooklyn College, and now they are just working by their own, and they don't really care about our concerns. You go downstairs, they don't pay attention to you, they are rude. I mean, you have a lot of troubles, a lot of issues every day, every week with any facility of your room, I don't know, anything in the kitchen, in the bathroom, and yeah, I mean, this is really discouraging because you got here in New York, you expect something really like comfortable and people like welcome you and embrace you in some way, you know. And like getting here in a residence hall, and on top of that, it's really expensive. I don't think that a shared room with a roommate, the space you got, I don't think it's fair, the price. You
Paying
can
how much?
you're paying for a shared room, which is the cheapest one.
Uh-huh.
You're paying 1,100 a month if you do like the
Yeah, so
months
it's
and you
10,000,
split the
right?
months. Actually, for one semester it's 4,995, and then the second semester is the same price.
Right, so 10,000 more, right?
Exactly. Yeah, 10,000, almost 10,000. So this is. I don't think this fits the price of this area because this is not actually a really. This is Brooklyn, but Brooklyn is more expensive as you get to downtown.
Right.
The day that I came to see the school, have them, you know, show us around, kind of like an open house type thing. We were
So
looking.
this was like in the spring, like
This was like in the summer.
okay,
Actually.
early summer,
Yeah.
before school started.
Yeah, before
Okay,
school
okay,
started.
okay.
And so we go downstairs, we go here and we check out the common area. We check out this room, we check out the lifting room, and mind you, this is the summer and everything is they just made sure everything was clean down here. And then they showed me a sample room of what my room would look like. And again, that room was spotless. It was good, it was clean. It was nice.
I think they only care about money. Actually, they only care about money. I'm telling you. My roommate told me like you go downstairs with like paying the bill every month, and they are really really happy. And then if you wanna bring up any other issue, they look at you like pissed, and
Yeah.
that's why they only care about money. Actually,
Uh-huh.
What kind of room do you have?
I have a single room. I share it's a suite, but I have my single room and I share the suite with two other people, but they share the room and I have the room to myself.
The other
Yeah.
person's me, by the way.
Oh yeah, the guy interviewing me is the other person, but I did pay a lot of money,
How much money?
dude, around 14K for the whole year.
$14,000.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was a lot of money. It was, oh my god, it was a lot of money. After I paid, I felt terrible that I spent that much money regardless for here. Not knowing how shitty it was. Not knowing how bad it was.
You feel like you got like punked basically? I mean like
I felt like I was punked the day I even, you know, paid for it. I felt punked even the day I paid for it, and I still didn't know how shitty it was. So when I realized how bad it was when I got here, you know, it was depressing knowing that I already felt bad about, you know, wasting all that money, but then again when I come here and everything is broken or not working or dirty, it just really put me in a bad mood, and it discouraged me from doing my school.